Hi everyone, it's Tracy. Today I'm sharing how to create some little wooden signs using vinyl and cut that out on your die cutting machine. I am using a Cricut Explorer in this video, but I wanted to show how quickly it would be to mass produce these signs because these wreaths are so popular and we're always looking for cute little signs to put on our wreaths. So let me show you how I put all of this together. I'm using these little wooden signs. They come in a package of 4 just like this from Hobby Lobby. You can get them at other places too, but you may have seen these in some of my hauls. Now this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to paint the wooden sign and then I'm going to cut the vinyl out on my Cricut Explorer and we're going to create a cute little sign. I like to base coat and get lots of signs ready so that I can mass produce this. So I am using this buttermilk colored paint by Americana. I will have a link in the description below if you would like to use or find or purchase any of the products that I currently used in this video. I painted the signs one coat with the buttermilk paint. Now I'm going to add a bit of shading. To do that I use a flat paintbrush. I dip half of my brush into the paint, half into clear, clean water, and blend that on a paper towel, and then I will shade around the sign. I love to use Sharpie markers on my projects because that is kind of my signature, my design, my doodling kind of thing. So my favorite markers to use is the fine point Sharpie marker as well as the ultra fine Sharpie marker. Now on this fine point Sharpie marker you may see that I have some yellow washi tape on there, and I figured out that that is a way for me to recognize what markers are my most latest, because I have so many Sharpie markers that I forget, which one's new and which one's not. So there's a little tip for you. Put some washi tape, just remember which one it was, and those will be marked as your newest markers. Okay, here in Design Space, I am going to insert a shape, and that is going to be my board. For the size, I need to unlock this because I want to put in my own size. It is 10 inches by 3.47. That is what the measurements I got on the outside of the package. Okay, and I'm going to turn this color. Kind of looks kind of the same color that I have for my sign. Okay, so now I want to insert the text, and I'm going to type welcome. By default, mine comes up with Cricut Sans, but I'm going to click on that and go to Systems Font, and the font I'm using is Magnolia Sky. It is a free download. I will put a link in the description below so you can check that out if you don't currently have this one. So you see how this comes up, and all of the letters are have a little space. Have the little space. I want to get rid of that, so I need to unlock it right here, and it puts the bubbles around it. So I'm going to unlock it, and then I want to ungroup here on the right hand side. So then I can move each letter individually. So I want to do it that way. This is how I do it. You can do whatever is best for you. Okay. All right. So I like the little placement of that. I'm going to group all of these back together, and I group them back together by holding my shift key down on my keyboard, and then clicking all the individual letters, and then coming back over here and on the right hand side and select group. So therefore they all become one word again. Okay, so I can resize the word. I can resize the word by doing that. Now when I drag this diagonal, it does resize it, but I want to manipulate it where I can resize it myself. I can kind of make it taller rather than fatter. See, if I pull it diagonal, it will just size it proportionately. How I do that is come over here to the lock button, and I click that, and it unlocks it. It puts this little green button right here, so that way I know it's unlocked. So now I can make it skinny, I can make it fatter, I can make it, I can manipulate it the way I want to for my board. Okay, so I want to kind of give a little space on the top and on the sides as well as the bottom. So when I like that, I kind of look at it and I really like that. So I'm going to go ahead and select down here at the bottom. I'm not sure if this shows on my screen, but down here on the right hand side, the bottom, I'm going to click weld. And so then it becomes one piece all welded together. They're not individual pieces. The difference between weld and attach is attach means they are planted on the mat where they won't move, but weld means that they are like cursive. They are like attached together. They're not going to come apart. Even if they are layered on top of each other, they still will, if they're cut individually, you'll kind of see the individual, like where the W meets the E and where the E meets the L. But now that they're welded, they're all attached together and they're just one piece, just welded together very nicely. Okay, so now I'm going to select Make It. Now it gives me two mats because I have the black up here, and then I have this brown color. I'm not going to cut that out. I actually can delete that if I want to. I choose not to delete the square or the rectangle because I may want to resize it again in the future, and I want to have that. So then now this one is here ready to go, so I can cut these welcomes out and make my signs. I also wanted to share an idea or how I get the most out of my vinyl, and when I mass produce these signs, this is how I save some time. So I'm just copying and pasting. I copied and pasted the welcome here. Okay, so I don't have quite a 12 by 24 sheet of vinyl, but I'm going to get as many welcome on here as I can. So let me see here. So I'm going to select Make It. Now it automatically gives, by default, it's a 12 by 12. So I want to change that and see it put it on two mats. I want to change this right here to a 12 by 24 because I'm going to use my 12 by 24 mat. So as you can see here, it is put all my welcomes here on my mat, okay? So it looks like I can get maybe one more. So I'm going to cancel that, and I'm going to edit and paste again. So I have 2, 4, 6. Let's see, 2, 4, 6. Yes, I have 6 welcomes. Just kind of save some time rather than having to go back. Okay, select make it. All right, select 12 by 24 again. Okay, so it put all of those 6 welcomes here on my material mat. So if you are okay with this, you can go ahead and cut it out. But if you want to kind of save some of the vinyl and want to take the time to do it, see this second welcome, I clicked on it and it put the little bubbles around it, and this one right here, I can't, if I control it with my mouse, I can flip it so that I can move this a little bit closer to the top welcome, and then that helps kind of conserve, see all this vinyl that I have. So then this third welcome, I will bring it up a little bit closer. Just make sure I don't overlap anything from the other welcome. Okay, this one right here, kind of bring it up. This one as well. Oops. I didn't want to flip that one. I want to bring it up here. And then I want to flip this one. And how I'm doing this is I am grabbing this little turn thing right here, and then I'm like taking my mouse and like making a circle, and so then that turns my project. Okay, so as you can see here, this gives me much more space. I'm lacking about 3 inches of the black vinyl because I did that on another project. So I can actually add one more welcome here underneath here so that I can get the most out of my piece of vinyl, and my Cricut can cut it all out at one time. This is how it cut out for me on my machine. I've already weeded and took out all the little excess between the O's and the E's, and I just love this, how it all cuts it out at one time, and I save vinyl as well. Okay, these are how my signs are going to look once I cut the vinyl out, weed it, and then transfer it onto this little sign. So I wanted to show you that I have, it works better if I cut these apart. And then I have this transfer tape. I will leave a link in the description below to share exactly what I use, because not all transfer tapes are created equal. I kid you not. And so I like this transfer tape. So what I just do is the purpose of the transfer tape is to transfer it onto the tape, so then you can in turn transfer it onto your project. So I just cut a piece. I've already done that. I just cut a piece that is, you know, long enough, wide enough for my project, for my vinyl cutout. And then I just take a scraper. I have this one. You can use a credit card, or you can use, you know, one of those tongue depressors, like a ice cream stick that you get, or that they have in the doctor's office. Anything to kind of burnish it, or kind of get it where it attaches to this tape, because I want it to transfer as smoothly as possible. So I'm just kind of going back and forth, just trying to go over it, because I want it to lift up very easily, just like this. Just like this, okay? So sometimes when you're working with vinyl, it doesn't lift up very easily. And so then I would go back, I would you know, take it slow, and if it doesn't lift up like this onto the tape, you know, lay it back down and burnish it a little bit more, okay? Then also, when we weld our word, it's all welded as one. It's all one word. Sometimes if I forget to weld my word and I have a cursive word like this, yes, each individual letter does stick, you know, it pills it up and I'm like, oh darn, I forgot to weld. But it's okay. Once you start working with vinyl a little bit more, you kind of learn those tricks of the trade. Okay, so I'm gonna put my sign right here in front of me. So before I just slap it on there, I kind of eyeball it to kind of see, you know, when I don't want it to be crooked. I don't want it to be, you know, make sure the L has enough space at the top and at the bottom. I want it to be centered enough, like the W and then the E, the last letter. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that down. Kind of smooth that, like that. Then again, personal preference, I want to burnish it more because now I want it to stick to my sign. I want it to transfer from the tape onto my sign. And so I promise you, I have a very love-hate relationship when it comes to vinyl. Vinyl is not my favorite thing to work with, but it's beautiful. Once you know, do your project, you can get a project to turn out where if you can't paint, you know, those kind of letters and that kind of thing. So then slowly what I'll do is I want to make sure that it is stuck to my sign. If it would not have been, I would take this tape and fold it back down and I would burnish it a little bit more. Slowly, 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 you can kind of, you'll get the feel for it to, you know, make sure that the tape comes off and not your vinyl, okay? There you go. That's how quickly and easy it is to make or mass produce these little welcome signs using wood, plaques from Hobby Lobby, paint, and vinyl. I do varnish or seal all of my signs, and so I use this Delta varnish. It's a glossy finish. They do have a matte finish, but I prefer the glossy because I like my signs to be a little glossy. So I just lay them all out on my table and I just put one little coat over the signs kind of all at one time, and it dries very quickly and we are good to go. To attach the signs to the wreath, you can staple pipe cleaners on the back. You can drill little holes and you can attach it to the wire frame with wire. Just make sure that it's pretty stable so the sign doesn't fall off of your wreath. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I appreciate your comments. I appreciate your thumbs up. And if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you. And thanks for watching, and God bless.